Welcome back to WICB 91.7 on Sports Talk Radio. I'm Ori Grady, and for this week, we have one of our interviews with a very special guest who plays and spends her time on the golf course and is a member of the Ithaca College golf team, Cristea Park. Thanks for joining us on Sports Talk Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, Cristea, you have a very long list of accomplishments, so I'm just going to give the full rundown to let our listeners know who they are dealing with today. In high school, you were the team captain for the VIC golf team. That's correct.
Yeah.
You were on the first team Suburban 1 League for 3 seasons and was the team leader for 2 PIAA state championship appearances. And last season, in your second year, you were the Liberty League first team and rookie of the year and the Liberty League golfer of the week. This season, you have also been playing very well, and you have the Williams Invitational this weekend. How about we just get straight into things? So what got you into playing golf in the first place?
Well, I grew up with my parents always playing golf, and I remember going to courses with my dad with 1-7 iron in hand and playing golf with him. And as much as I could, so I was just swinging randomly, and I would just hit the fairways all the time. And it ended up becoming more of a passion for me when my dad realized he enjoyed it and I enjoyed it, and I had some kind of talent there. So he started taking me to a coach, and then after that it just kind of escalated and escalated. And actually at one point I was practicing 3 hours a day, so I wanted to become a professional at one
Wow.
point.
When
Yeah,
was this?
when I was 10, I'm gonna assume 4th or 5th grade, I was
Mhm.
training super hard, and I actually fell out of love with the sport. And then I stopped in middle school completely because it was just really taxing on me at such a young age. And then I got back into it in high school, and then I fell in love with it all over again, and actually for the better, I think. So
That's awesome. So you were talking about how you fell in love with it, but what about the game do you love most now, and what has made you continue playing at the college level?
um well, the college level thing is actually, I was really debating on whether I should play it in high school, after high
Hmm.
school into college. And I came here and I committed, and I had my doubts because golf comes with a lot of stress and a lot of pressures. And I'm very competitive and hard on myself. So I add to that, sadly. But my coach, I met the best coach here. So honestly, he's the one that reignited that passion for me again. And I truly enjoy playing now. And part of what I enjoy so much is it's such a challenge. It's
Right.
something that I can always work on, something I can always play in the future as well. But also when you're playing good golf, or even when you're just scrapping together a good round,
Hmm.
you can shoot a good score by just scrapping things together. And
Right.
at the end of it, you look back and you're whoa, that was a lot, or wow, that shot was good. And those feelings is that feeling of accomplishment is something that you don't get to feel all the time. And it's such a
Right.
new sport, so it makes it even harder on myself. And it's such a mental sport too, so I've just learned a lot and I've grown a lot through golf. And I don't think I could ever throw that away. So that's just
Hmm.
something that makes me just want to keep playing and keep getting better. But it is really hard. So
Yeah. Golf is so much more than just a physical game. It's so much mental, and it requires so much mental strength, especially when you're on the course and competing. It's such a challenge. So how do you cope with the mental pressures during a long, let's say, 36-hole tournament?
um you know what, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm still working on it. I think
Hmm.
every player has a long way to go, including professionals. They're just a little bit better than me at it. But I have been working on my confidence levels. I think that something my coach says to me a lot is you're a great hitter, you're a good player, and you've practiced enough. It's just the fact that when you get over the ball, you're doubting yourself, or you look at yourself and you doubt yourself. And I think that's a flaw of mine, and I've been really working on it. And I also think that I try to control what I think, overthinking, when I'm over the ball, to
Right.
just help me play really well. And I think it's been working a lot. And honestly, this season, if I'm gonna tell you the truth, I think I've been working a lot on my physical swing. and
Hmm.
it's going through a lot of changes, which normally wouldn't give me such a good season. But I think that while I'm doing that, like I'm also working a lot on my mental side, like a lot. And I think that
Yeah.
that's what's like really pushing me through. So I enjoy the journey, but the mental side is definitely hard.
Right. So you were named Women's Golf Co-Performer of the Week recently, last week. How do you focus and prepare during the week between tournaments, depending on which courses you will play? So I know you have the Invitational this weekend. What's a normal week routine for you?
Well, so Mondays are off day, so I genuinely take a break. Like
Hmm.
everyone needs to take a break from like studying or school at one point. So I just decompress, and then I'm always like working out and like lifting in between the week. Um and I like I just like to practice. I like to be the best that I can be, and I think I try to reset. And like as much as I played really well last weekend and I know I like put everything into it, like every week's going to be different, and that's what's unique about golf, I think, is that your swing is never going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
As much as you swing, it's never going to be exactly the same, and your feeling isn't going to be exactly the same. So I think that I just keep swinging, and then the next week, like I'm like, what's my problem now, or like what am I gonna work on now? And like I think if you're ever like satisfied with yourself, your swing, I feel like that's almost a problem where it's like I feel like I should be pushing to grow,
Hmm.
but also like searching out for problems isn't a great thing, obviously. But I'm just always working on something. And I
Hmm.
think that like my mindset is always like whatever happened in the past is it happened in the past. And I can just learn from it. But like that doesn't mean I'm gonna shoot like 76 again this weekend. Like I don't know. So like I
Right.
keep working on it and work on what I need to improve on because I can always improve. So
I love that. I love that a lot. So for this week, specifically for the Williams Invitational, do you study each individual hole in the course and you try to prepare strategies in advance, or are you a type of player who likes to go one hole at a time while you're playing and maybe see what you can do off the tee box the next hole? What's your strategy
um
going into?
actually, we go over the 18 holes before we like end up playing. So
Right.
we have like our notes and stuff, and our grad assistant and our coach, like we read through them together, and it really helps. But then again, like if you don't have a practice round, then there's not much you can do other than that. So I
Hmm.
try to look up like pictures and like trying to like picture it in my head. But like I have played this course before, so
You have.
yeah,
Okay.
my freshman year. So I'm sure that when I get back on like the golf course, I'll be able to recognize like little things. But it's definitely still kind of like a shocker when I get there a little bit.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I just think that like I'm taking it hole by hole in a way too, because
That's
as
good.
much as the
Yeah.
notes can help me, there's only so much you can do when you're in the moment. So I think the notes really help. But then again, like I haven't played since freshman year, so it's like still kind of a fresh feeling for me.
Golf is an individual sport, yet it is also a team sport when played as a team like you are now. What's the biggest difference between playing as a team or playing as an individual, let's say in an individual competition?
I would honestly say that there are definitely differences, but
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I am playing by myself,
Right.
and
Hmm.
it is definitely an individual mindset that I have. So it's very I like to focus on myself, and like I think that when I think about like what's my teammate doing or like how is that person doing, I can get competitive. I know myself. So like it's just better for me to just like think about myself, and I'm like, okay, you know what you're doing and you will have enough to work on like by yourself. So there's no point in worrying
Hmm.
about other people. But at the end of the day, when like we're like put together and then their scores add up, I'm always rooting for my team though. Like even if I play bad, I think that I'm always rooting for them. And that's a
Yeah.
great feeling to have that like you can also like in a way lean on someone else. Like in a way you can be like, oh, like you guys did so good. Like you can make up for my loss today. And like I'll obviously try my best to do the next time. And like it's also nice when like I play bad and then my teammates are there to pick me up. Like that's a great feeling because you don't really get that when you're playing alone.
Yeah.
But when I am playing alone, it's definitely even more of like just attention on my skills and like what I'm doing, and like it's more of a mind game, I think, almost like just in the tiniest way, because either way I'm still focusing on myself, but it gives like that team aspect is a little bit of forgiveness on myself, I think. Like
I
it
like
gives
that. Yeah.
of okay, like I didn't do well today, but I'm gonna try tomorrow. Like, and my teammates are there to like help me feel a little better. But when I finish at the end of the day by myself, it's a little bit more pressure on myself. And like I know I do it to myself. So, but the mental state is just it's still focused on me. And I think like I'm gonna do all that I can do to help myself and my team. And like I feel like when I put that pressure of like my team on top of me, it doesn't really help me. So I just like
Yeah.
block out everything else, and I'm just trying to play my game.
I like that a lot. So time is kind of going down the drain here, but I have one last question for you. I might know the answer, but I'm not quite sure. If you had to pick three clubs, that's three clubs from the back to play a quick 9 holes, what are those three clubs?
I'm gonna choose my putter.
Your putter, yeah.
I'm gonna choose my sand. I think
Sandwich.
I
Okay.
think the short game's been pretty good. So I feel like that's like an in-between club that I could work with, you know? And I think I'm gonna choose a 7-iron because I think
Interesting.
I think that I think that you can hit your irons pretty solid and like straight, and you can also use them to get out of places that you shouldn't be.
Right.
And 7-iron is at medium like distance where I think you can do a
Yeah.
lot, but so, like little at the same time, you know?
So yeah, so you wouldn't call yourself a lawn knocker. It's interesting that you didn't pick the driver here. So you'd prefer to hit it down the middle with a 7-iron and then lay up with a sandwich and trust your short game that you're going to make a nice 10-footer for par or something.
Yeah, actually, my driver's been going through some changes.
I see.
I wouldn't test it, but even if it was, I think that accuracy is more important than distance always. So you can always work with accuracy, but I don't think you can work with just distance and like kind of hitting it left and right. And I think short game is the most important part of your game. And it has been working for me really well this season. So I'm going to trust it. I'm going to go with that.
That's great. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this week on WICB 91.7. I'm Ori Grady. Thank you so much, Cristea. That was a pleasure. Thank you.